I was about 2.5 or 3 years old, and there was this get together, and everybody's singing. And then my mother tells me to sing some shloka or something. It was M.S. Subbulakshmi's Ganesha Pancharatnam.
Okay.
Udakarat modakam sada vimukti sadhakam. So I'm singing it in whatever way I can,
Right.
and then I turn to my mother and I say, I want Shruti. I wanted her to switch on the Shruti box because
Quite, quite the
that's a
demanding
grown up.
performer you were.
Absolutely, because you got to have the works.
Right.
At that stage, I think the excitement was more about the performance and everybody clapping for you and all that.
Right.
I thought to be human is to sing, like everybody sings. It's a
Right.
very normal thing. So I thought, okay, I got to sing too,
Right.
and those are some of my earliest memories. More than adding to the class, I think it sort of gave me myself a unique perspective.
Mhm.
And I think I would be perhaps a little more creative in terms of my presentations,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
try to bring in a little color, find ways to hook the audience right in the beginning. These are all skills from the performing world. try
Right.
to try to understand your audience before. So I see this as a two-way street. So the musician in me has
Great
taught the
point.
manager in me a lot, and the manager in me has taught the musician in me a lot. And
Right.
to extend it further beyond myself, I think the worlds of music and management have a lot to offer each other.
Right.
At the end of the day, we are all trying to create something within a set of given constraints.
Right.
In your manager's case, it's probably budget and timeline, and in an artist's case, it's it could be an availability of a group of artists or whatever when the performance is coming up. So in some ways, I do see some synergies between what we are all trying to do, and it's just that I think artists have no choice but to be creative every single day.
Right.
And I think that's a perspective that I like to bring into the management world, which is
Sure.
that you don't sit under a tree and think, okay, today I'm going to be creative.
Sure.
Creativity is a muscle that you
Right.
need to work at every single day,
Right.
so that you get better at it. And
Right.
I think that's really what these two worlds have to offer each other. Certainly, I think it's been great for me to have seen these two very different worlds. Now, I remember I turned 25 at that time when I was in New York, and it was midnight, and I was, in the 85th floor of this really tall building, looking out at what looked like a scene from a Karan Johar movie, but I wasn't really doing what I loved.
Right.
I would have been happier, singing to a sabha of 250 people singing Ragam Tanam Pallavi. It may not have been thousands of people or anything, or I may not have been earning, lakhs or crores of rupees, but to me, that was what I was giving up.
Right.
For the sake of this life. And at some point I said, no, this is not the life that I want to lead. I had a taste of it. I made my decision. What complicated things, as more often than not, is the personal angle to it, personal life. I met the man who was going to be my husband during this 2-month stint in New York.
Fantastic.
And so I left New York with two proposals in my hand, right? One for the permanent job and one for marriage. And I rejected one, the replacement offer from Goldman Sachs.
Which is clearly the job one, yeah.
Yeah, and the other one I accepted with a condition that I would continue to be in India, because I was still wanted to learn more. I wanted to be in this milieu, and this was where my network was, and I wanted to grow as a musician. So maybe contrary to what the normal path would be, I actually got my husband to move back and build a career here. The key is really to be very real and to have a very good understanding of your own self. Right. To know where you stand. It's very important to know how good or how bad you are, what are your own areas of improvement. And I think after a while, that sense comes only from introspection. Right. It doesn't matter what people say. Some days, people will say you didn't sing well, but I will find something that I did better than in my last performance. Or some days people will be going gaga, mainly because you sang what they liked or something like that. Right. But you'll know you've not done a good job, and these were the points that I didn't do well at. So I think the key is really in introspection, and it really after a while shouldn't matter what people say. Because you are your own best judge. And see, for me, music is a never-ending journey. I'm very far away from what I want to be as a musician, but I've come a long way. Right. It's a very personal journey. There are no prescriptions. Do things that you will not regret having not done. And finally, I think it's very important to have a balance between the head and the heart. I'm not someone who says throw caution to the winds and just jump into it, because you have to be real and aware of what the world around is. It's a hyper competitive world in whichever field. So balance it out between your head and your heart. And at the end of the day, I think your intuition will guide you towards the decision that you're meant to take.